Hello and welcome to the show. Once again, we have a fabulous lineup of guests to energise and inspire you.
It's time to wake up your wow with your host, international award-winning speaker, Cath Vincent.
On the show, prolific author Richard Webster on how you and I can write a book in 30 days. Do good in the world with every cent you spend with Trade Aid Ambassador Erin Eydt. International hypnotherapist Dennis Law gives us a dramatic presentation.
'Cause even if it takes a lifetime, I swear that I'd still go.
And in the music slot from Wilde Records with Jesse Wilde, original music from singer-songwriter Ciaran McMeeken. All this and more to wake up your wow.
Richard, welcome back on the show once more.
It's wonderful to be back.
I've got to say, it was kind of an emergency call because as you know, I have now committed to write a book in 30 days.
I'm thrilled.
So I'm glad you are. But listen, before we get into all of that, since we spoke last, have you published any more books?
Yes, probably 7 or 8. I do 4 a year, so is it 2 years? I can't actually remember.
I can't remember either,
no.
but you'd published about 150 something?
Yes, I'm in 100. It's still 150 something, I think.
Right, so you just keep going, you keep pumping them out, and you never run dry?
No, I know what the next 20 books are going to be.
Wow, wow, you know what the next 20 books are?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I may not write them all because each year I meet my publisher and we decide what books I'm going to write that year.
Right.
So if they come up with good ideas, I'll write theirs rather than my ones.
Right, so
it's normally a mixture.
You're never going to give up, I take it?
Oh, no.
Well, it's a great profession.
As long as I enjoy it, I'll keep on doing it.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. So let's just recap, in case people haven't seen that particular interview. So you have a very structured approach to making sure that you kind of meet your targets so that you can keep being on track with writing.
Yes.
Because a lot of people will be like, oh, writer's block, can't write, haven't written anything. Not you.
Well, no, I can't afford to have writer's block because I'm a professional writer, it's what I do.
Yeah.
Writer's block normally occurs when people don't know what to write next.
Right.
And I always know what to do next because I outline my books.
Right.
They're not full outlines. That gives me flexibility to move around and change when I'm writing them. But I basically know what's going to happen next all the way through. And I write 2,000 words a day until the book is done.
Yes, now that's the bit that really captivated me. Mm-hmm. If you know you've got to write 2,000 words a day and you try and get them done early, or maybe it takes you all day, but
that's right.
You do 2,000 words a day no matter what.
No matter what, yes.
Right, okay.
I always think it's going to be finished by morning tea time, but sometimes it is, but usually it can go on.
I'll be there at midnight going, oh. So listen, let's talk. You touched on the structure, the fact that you always know where you're going with it.
Yes.
So what advice would you give a writer, for example?
Yes.
Someone who is going to write a book, how do you go about setting up your structure?
I would start by finding my publisher unless I'm going to self-publish it.
Right.
And download their guidelines because every publisher has guidelines for writers. Yeah. And you can just download those from the internet. And then that tells you what they want and also what they don't want. Yeah. So that saves time. But once I've got all that sorted, I have the title of the book. I'll write as many interesting things as I can about the topic. Okay. I need at least 15. Right. And they will become chapter headings. Okay. They'll change a little bit, but they will ultimately become chapter headings. And then once I've got those and rearranged them and thought what's missing, what needs to be included, I'll then add to those just a little bit, just a few keywords, what I'm going to include in each chapter. Yeah. And that's my outline.
Okay, so 15 is my target. I need 15 interesting things to write down.
Yes. If I can't find 15 and I still want to do the book, I'll write an article first. Right. And I'll get that published in a magazine and see what feedback I get.
Oh, actually, that's a good idea.
Yes, because if you don't get any feedback, well, it's probably not going to be worth writing the book.
I have no idea if this interview is interesting to anyone else. This is me doing my research for my book. I'm like, tell me more, tell me more. So let's say I've got my outline and I've committed to writing 2,000 words a day, which didn't sound a lot the first time that you said it, Yes. What advice would you give me on a day-to-day basis?
I would start at a certain time every day.
Right.
So that forces you to be there and to write. So don't look at emails, don't look at Facebook, don't do anything. You're there to write.
That's good advice. So no distractions. If this is your primary thing, and I guess it's the same whether you're writing a book or whatever you think is your primary focus in life, do that first.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Okay. Right. Okay. And typically, what time do you start?
Well, it used to be 8 in the morning because my wife used to go out and work, but she doesn't anymore, so it's more likely 10 in the morning nowadays.
I think I'm going to start about 2 in the afternoon, And do you think it matters whether you're a morning person or an afternoon person?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I can write any time of the day or night. I just prefer to do it in the morning.
Yeah. And have you been a person who dictates, or do you type or
No,
write?
I've always typed.
Right.
I'm intrigued with the idea of dictating because I think I could up my output if I dictated.
Well,
but I haven't experimented with it yet. I intend to.
Do you want to write a book when I'm writing mine, which is like soon? Actually,
we could do that.
Shall we?
We could definitely do that.
We should do that, and we should get everyone writing a book in the same month. If you think you want to write a book and you haven't started yet and you want to give it a go, perhaps you should join us in, what should we call it, Book Writing Month.
Yes, that's a very, very good idea.
So, Richard, I am blaming you for the fact that I got all excited and promised to write a book because I was quite inspired by your interview. I thought, oh yeah, Richard writes one every month, I'll be able to do it. But actually, I reran the interview. I'm like, oh, what did Richard tell us in the last one? And I remember saying to you, is it true everyone has a book in them? Do you remember what you would have said?
I think I would have said something like, yes, everyone has a book inside them, but that's normally where it should stay.
Oh, yeah, and that's the thing. I'm really worried that my book is going to be one of those books.
No, I'm sure it won't.
And you've got some books with you today, I see.
Yes. This is my newest book, Angels for Beginners.
Oh, yeah.
I've written a lot of books for beginners because that's where the biggest market is. The more specialised the audience, the smaller the market, of course. So this is the non-fiction book, just introducing people to the subject of angels and how they can use them in everyday life and call on them. That's a book on rituals, because our lives are full of rituals. Even getting out of bed and getting dressed in the morning is a ritual of a sort.
And I guess it's an advanced habit, really, if you think about it.
It is. Yes, you often do them without thinking. Yes, it's exactly right. And these are two books that just keep on selling, one on creative visualization and one on body language. They're just sort of popular topics that just keep on selling. And I also have a couple of books which I bought especially for you, because knowing that you're going to be writing a book.
Give me the book!
One of success strategies for writers, and it's got a little bit about motivation in there. It's basically how to write a book.
Cool.
You're using my system of writing a book.
Oh, brilliant.
So
thank you.
I hope that will be of use to you.
Do you know what I really love as well? Is it's quite thin. Like it's not like, oh, he gave me a 3,000-page book, now I've got to read it.
Yes.
Brilliant, thank you.
I like writing thin books because they're quick and easy. Yes. And this is another thin book that's how to write and publish your life story.
Interesting.
It's a little bit more specialised.
Oh, fantastic. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming in, and thanks for all your help. I will call you. I will.
Yes, please call me. I'll be very happy to help. And thank you very much for having me again.
Thanks so much, Richard. Lovely to see you again.
Thank you. Bye.
Next up, beautiful handmade gifts that change lives.
So, Erin, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me here.
So, listen, tell us a bit about Trade Aid. What's the organisation all about?
About lots of things, but to put it really simply, we've got 3 key ideas, which is made fair, made by people, and made to feel good.
Brilliant. So you source products worldwide that basically are made in countries that perhaps aren't doing as well as we are by people who are trying to create their way in the world.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
What sort of countries are we talking about?
So I think at the moment there's about 24 countries with about 66 partners. That moves obviously, but and so Trade Aid essentially starts a partnership with a group in the country who tend to be cooperatives, and then they start trading using fair trade principles.
And tell us a bit about the fair trade principles.
So Trade Aid is certified by the World Fair Trade Organisation, so it means that the whole supply chain from beginning to the end, and there are 10 principles, and they're all the good things you'd want, fair wages, good environment-free working. There's stuff about preserving the environment itself. And,
So it's basically trying to avoid the exploitation of people overseas. So they're creating amazing products and they're getting a fair price for them.
Yep.
Okay. Actually, I have to tell you this. Wedding anniversary present for me. 5 years is wood. So that's, if you're married 5 years, you get something made out of wood. And I got this beautiful wooden chest handmade, and it's from Trade Aid.
Ah, yay!
Yeah, and I have to say, it's completely stunning. Like, the workmanship on it is amazing. And the other part of it is, because I do all the accounts, I actually know how much it cost. So, I was really amazed, because we tend to think that handmade stuff is very expensive and exclusive, don't we?
But it's not always the case. I mean, so I think people are often surprised at the prices.
And as you can see, my wedding anniversary gift is now on our set.
Ah.
And of course, you feel even better knowing that you spend some money and it has an impact around the world.
Yes.
So where did this box come from? Do you know the history?
I know a little bit, yep. So this box is made at Tara Projects, so that's an Indian producer. And just a little snippet about them. There's a woman who works for Tara, and she lived in a slum in Delhi and didn't have any opportunities to make income for her family, and started working with Tara and got taught how to make beautiful things in a safe working environment, fair wages. She got a huge amount of confidence and independence from that, and the Tara Projects has a school as well, so her children were going to the school. And it's just really exciting to hear recently that her daughter has gone to university and she's now actually being a teacher for others in the slum. And so, it's really cool. And that's something that's often prioritised, is obviously education. Yeah. So with most of the producer groups, when they have extra money, it goes into things like school and education for kids, and medical centres often as well. But
brilliant.
Fundamentals we take for granted. So.
Totally. Well, I felt pretty good about my box before, but I feel really good about it now. So that's great.
I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, this is the thing I think I'm always so amazed at when you go into a shop. And something we forget in life is everything you see, everything you use, there was someone who helped to make that, right? And you pick it off a shelf. And I guess that's the thing with Trade Aid and the Made by People, is kind of bridging the gap, bringing you, New Zealand, closer to the person who made it.
Yes.
And I remember I bought these little cute booties for my colleague at work who had a baby, and the woman who'd made it in Peru had signed her name, and she got back to me and said her husband was just like astonished, like with this woman, like it took him across to Peru, and he was just like, wow, she made these booties. Wow.
That's really cool. It's like travelling when you shop, but you don't have to go long haul,
Yeah, that's right.
But it's a really good point. You make me want to look around and go, well, where did this come from? Actually, the teapot came from T2. It's amazing. It goes to the table. But where did everything come from? Yeah. And I guess that's part of responsible buying too.
Yep. That's it, and that's why I got involved with Trade Aids. We're in New Zealand, at the bottom of the world, so far away, and you can often feel quite helpless. What can I do to the big wide world out there? And by your consumer power, you can make a difference by how you choose to spend.
Yeah. So how can more people feel good about the stuff they buy?
Buy from Trade Aid.
And you have heaps of shops, don't you? I mean, there's going to be one near you, wherever you are.
Yeah. There's 7 in Auckland.
And how many stores throughout the country?
There's over 30.
Brilliant. Yeah. Thank you so much, Erin.
Thank you, Cath.
Thanks.
Next up, getting out of your rut and breaking through brick walls.
Dennis, Laura, welcome back.
Cath, it's wonderful to be here, and what a splendid job you've done. Absolutely fantastic.
Thank you. We're loving our new studio. We're really settled in now.
Love what you did with the place.
So, hey, you just flown in from Perth.
Did.
Yeah. Did you get all your luggage this time?
All
you didn't
my
lose
luggage
anything?
was there this time. I didn't just see the handle on the carousel. I had the whole lot, which is great. No problem at all.
So listen, the last time that we saw you, I know we were talking about breakthroughs, and you had me actually break through a piece of wood with my bare hand.
Absolutely.
Take a look.
Go. Beautiful.
Oh my God!
Well done.
So actually that was...
That's a cut through.
I was hyped. I was completely hyped for hours after. Yeah. And this is the kind of stuff that you're doing with clients all the time, helping them break through. Literally and figuratively.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what you did that day as well, you said to me, how do people feel when they've been to see you? And I said, how do you feel having broken through. That's exactly how you feel.
I actually wanted to break lots of things, you know. I'm like, and they're going, no.
The teapot's fine, just the way it is.
But listen, since we spoke, you've been off to Vegas. You were there for a month. Tell us about that.
I was in Vegas for a month, and that was doing trainers training. Right.
So you're now training other trainers to help other people.
Absolutely.
Right.
And we spent a lot of the time, which is, you know, I'm here as a hypnotist, as a hypnotherapist.
Yeah.
And that's basically what we do. But also, we do neuro-linguistic programming and timeline therapy.
Okay, so tell us a bit about NLP is the shorthand. People call it NLP. Yeah. So neuro-linguistic programming is what, in a nutshell?
Neuro-linguistic programming is about finding the excellence for you to perform with other people.
Yeah.
And that's listening to yourself. What are you thinking about? What are you doing? What are you telling other people? And listening to other people, that's really, really important, especially in a business connotation or meetings.
Right.
For example, I had somebody just a couple of days ago phone me up, Dane, I'd like to have a quick chat with you. Have you got time? Yeah, because he's a previous client. And one of the things I do with all my clients, I guarantee the work.
Right.
I also provide mentoring and coaching going forward. So that they don't just come and see me once, they see me again, and we build up a friendship as well.
Yeah. And what kind of breakthroughs are people having?
This particular person, which is topical, it's right off the top of my head, he had hit a brick wall.
Yeah.
Right, and brick walls people hit from time to time, and what you've got to do is find a way over it, through it, round it, whatever you can to break through or get over that brick wall.
And when you talk about a brick wall, are you talking about something dramatic, or are you actually talking about, you know, it might be as simple as getting stuck in a rut?
Well, that's where this guy was.
Right, okay.
He was stuck in a rut, and I think in listening to you previously, you've talked about writer's block.
Oh, yes.
Right? That is something that you've got to break through.
Yeah.
It can be in a metaphorical sense, it can be quite demonstrative, as we did before, but whatever's holding you back, we have to find out what that is.
And I see that you've written a book.
I did, and I brought a copy specially for you.
Thank you. We'll stick that in our motivation library. And now tell me, obviously, I'm curious to know, was it quick to write?
Actually, it was a little bit like déjà vu, listening to Richard.
Oh, right.
And he said, allow yourself 30 days, make yourself a schedule and stick to it.
And is that what you did?
Exactly.
Oh, fantastic.
Exactly, and that was before I met Richard. Now I've just met him. It's absolutely good advice, which we can say holds good.
Brilliant.
And obviously, don't make the book too thick.
Yeah, good advice, thank you.
You're welcome.
So listen, when I saw you were coming, there was a bit of trepidation, I have to say.
A bit.
Like, oh, what's he going to make me do? I've actually lined up a volunteer this time. I don't know what you're going to do, but I've got a volunteer.
Fantastic.
What are you going to do?
Actually, we're going to do something which the audience will like. We're going to suspend this lady between two chairs.
Oh, and does she know?
No, she doesn't know it yet. But that's part of the surprise for everybody.
Okay, very good. Well, I'm intrigued to see.
Absolutely.
Obviously, it would be kind of hard for me to be interviewing you while suspended between two chairs.
Well, I think it would be possible but difficult.
Yeah.
Not good television.
Yeah, cool. Well,
Better the way we are.
Let's take a look. I'm dying to see what you do.
Okay, let's get on with it. Okay, so Wendy's came to join us today. Thank you, Wendy. Nice to see you here. We're going to have some fun together, and that will start now. Sure. What I'd like you to do is put your hand on mine and press down really hard. Press down really hard, and follow my instructions. You're up late at night. Imagine you're watching a black and white television show, and your eyes are getting very, very sleepy. Very sleepy. Whilst you're looking at this part, focus on here. Feeling very, very sleepy. Press down really hard, and sleep. Sleep, sleep. Totally relax, totally relax. From the top of your head, all the way down to the tips of your toes. Totally, totally relax. Totally relax. I'm going to lift your left arm. You could help me today, but don't. Let me do the work. And when I put your left arm down, you're going to go 10 times deeper. Relax. 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 In a moment, I'm going to ask you to open your eyes, and from the head up only, look at what I'm going to show you. The rest of your body will remain asleep. You wake up your eyes and look at me, look at my hand. This nice ball. Look. What colour is it?
Yellow.
Yellow. You can take the ball. You craft it very carefully for me. Thank you. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is going to have to sleep once more. Deeply relax and listen to my instructions. I'm going to stand you up very, very carefully in a moment. And I want you to follow my instructions exactly. First of all, give me the ball. I'll look after that for you. Thank you. Now I'm going to help you to stand up. Stand up. And to go totally rigid. Rigid. Rigid and stiff. Rigid and stiff. Rigid and stiff. Stay rigid and stiff. Now gently. Just lie back. Trust me. Rigid and stiff. 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 Stiff and rigid. Rigid and stiff. Now you can open up your eyes but remain rigid and stiff. How do you feel? Very good. You feel rigid and stiff?
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. Now sleep. And remain rigid and stiff. Rigid and stiff. We're going to help you stand up. Rigid and stiff. 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 You can feel the chair behind you now. Just gently relax and sit on the seat. Relax, 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 relax. Sit on the seat. And sleep. In a moment, I'm going to wake you from trance as I count from 10 to 1. Don't open your eyes until I count to 1. 10. Beginning to feel everything around you. 9. And when you wake up, you'll feel totally refreshed. 7, 6. Totally refreshed. 5 and 4, 3. Ready to wake up. 2 and 1. You can wake up. There.
Fantastic, fantastic. So I've got to ask you, how do you feel?
Great, actually. I could hear everything that was going on. I felt totally in control, and yeah, I feel excited and energised, but relaxed at the same time.
Wow, fantastic. You can't say fairer than that.
You can't.
Congratulations.
Absolutely fantastic job. Thank you.
Next up, the Wilde Records music slot with Jessie Wilde.
Jessie Wilde, welcome back.
Oh, great to be back again.
Yeah, so listen, who's recording in the studio right now?
We have an incredible artist named Ciaran McMeeken.
McMeeken, that's tricky to say after a few beers.
It certainly is, and it's funny you should say that because when I met him, I'd had a few beers.
Yeah.
We were at a party. And,
no change there then.
Yeah, we were at a birthday party for Jasper Hawkins. Remember when he was on the show?
Jasper was on the show. We love Jasper.
That's right. We went to his house and we saw they were doing a gig in their living room, and then this Ciaran McMeeken gets up and blows us away.
Can't wait to hear him.
There's a place that I once heard about, and a story that was read to me out loud. A land of make-believers, so it seemed, and it took me to a place of hopes and dreams. My mother said to me when I turned 18, there's a ship and it's sailing across the sea. Just promise me, boy, you'll write me every day, and I'll leave before my mind changes. Turn my back to my homeland, throw a coin over my shoulder, and I hear the water break. May good luck come my way. How long does it take to get so wrong? And you're standing on the other side of the globe. 'Cause even if it takes a lifetime, I swear that I'd still go. When I climb those Spanish steps, I let you know. Now I'm singing tunes in the chorus cafe. 24 years to the day I've been awake. My feet are standing still on foreign ground. There's no map to show you the side of town. Turn my back to my homeland, never looked over my shoulder. And I heard my mother say, lost something along the way. How long does it take to get so wrong? When you're standing on the other side of the globe. 'Cause even if it takes a lifetime, I swear that I'd still go. When I climb those Spanish steps, I let you know. How long does it take to get so wrong? When I climb those Spanish steps, I let you know.
Great work, mate. Great work.
Oh, that was fabulous.
Thank you.
A lot of emotion in that song.
Lots of emotion, yeah.
Kind of bittersweet. I love that.
Yeah, it's a journey song. It's definitely a life, growing up sort of song.
You're quite young though, and there seems like a lot of experience in that.
Yeah, I'm an old soul.
An old soul.
Yeah,
so tell me what you're working on right now.
So I've just finished recording an album.
Yep.
I'm getting everything in place, all the artwork and videos and stuff ready for the release in July.
Yeah.
Which I'm really excited about.
Yep.
The first time, usually I get a little bit nervous around release time, but I'm really excited about this album.
Yeah, I'd say most musicians are like that, aren't they? Do musicians get nervous? They're coming in the studio, they're getting nervous when they're doing their work?
There's a fine line between nervousness and excitement.
Yeah. And
always a little bit of nerves heightens your performance. Do you find that?
Yeah, always.
Yeah, I think when musicians get too blasé owning a studio, that's when their performance isn't as good. I reckon a little bit of nerves is great. But we don't use the N word, we call it excitement.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same feeling. It's just acknowledging that it's excitement as opposed to nerves.
Yeah, very good. And so you're doing a tour, you're going nationwide?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, there'll be a tour nationwide.
Fabulous.
Which I'm really excited about. That's my focus this year, is just to get playing.
Yeah.
And just get out there and do it,
Brilliant. Well, we'll be looking forward to seeing you. So congratulations and thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming, mate.
Yeah, cheers.
Great.
My thanks to all my special guests, to Richard, to Erin, to Dennis and Wendy, to Ciaran, and of course our very own Jessie Wilde. And until next week, don't wait to wake up your wow. Now, if you've been watching the show, you know that I rather hastily committed to write a book in 30 days. In fact, I'm going to dictate it using Dragon software. Now, the exciting thing is, if you've always wanted to write a book, you can join our Facebook and get all the support you need from everyone else who is also committed to writing their book. You know you want to. Give it a go.